signed the contract. Your soul belongs to me now.
The screech of tires tore through the rain-slicked streets of Manhattan like a demon's howl. And in that split second, my world shattered. I remember the flash of headlights, the jolt that flung my body against the dashboard, and then nothing but an endless void, colder than the deepest winter I'd ever known. But death? No, it wasn't death that claimed me. It was something far worse. A velvet trap woven from fire and forgotten promises, pulling me into the arms of a lover I never asked for. I gasped awake, my chest heaving as if I'd been drowning, the metallic tang of blood still on my tongue. The room around me wasn't a hospital sterile white. It was opulent, suffocating in its grandeur. Crimson velvet drapes framed towering windows that overlooked a cityscape of jagged spires and rivers of molten gold. Not the familiar Hudson, but something twisted, alive with unnatural flickers. My head throbbed, and as I pushed myself up from silk sheets that smelled of smoke and sandalwood, a heavy gold band encircled my finger, etched with symbols that burned faintly against my skin. What the hell, literally? Welcome home. My Majesty, a voice purred from the shadows, smooth as aged whiskey, laced with an amusement that sent chills racing down my spine. He stepped into the firelight from a massive hearth I hadn't noticed, tall and impossibly perfect, his black suit hugging broad shoulders like it was tailored by sin itself. Those eyes, amber, glowing faintly, locked onto mine with an intensity that made my pulse stutter. Lucifer. The name hit me like a freight train, absurd and impossible, because guys like me, Alex Harper, 28-year-old gay journalist chasing corruption stories in the underbelly of New York, didn't believe in devils. We believed in deadlines, bad dates, and the ache of loving in a world that sometimes felt too small to hold it all. But there he was, the king of hell, lounging against a marble pillar carved with writhing figures, a smirk playing on lips that promised both ruin and redemption. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said, his voice wrapping around me like smoke. Or perhaps the devil himself. Either way, darling, you're engaged to him now. I scramble back, the sheets tangling around my legs, my mind reeling from the accident, the cab hydroplaning on Fifth Avenue, the driver yelling about some curse, the world spinning into black. "This is a dream," I muttered, rubbing my temples, or a hallucination. Too many late nights on caffeine and regret. But the ring felt real, heavy, and when I yanked at it, a spark jumped to my fingertip, drawing a bead of blood. Lucifer chuckled, low and resonant, crossing the room in strides that ate up the distance between us. Up close, he smelled like brimstone and fresh rain, his presence a magnetic pull that made my traitorous body respond in ways it had no right to. Engaged, I spat the word like venom, though my voice cracked. "To you? What kind of cosmic joke is this?" He tilted his head, studying me with those eyes that seemed to peel back layers I'd buried deep. My lonely apartment in Brooklyn, the string of hookups that never quite filled the void. The article I'd been writing on urban legends that mocked the supernatural as fairy tales for the desperate. "Not a joke. Alex," he said softly, his fingers brushing mine as he stilled my hand on the ring. The touch was electric, gentle, and it stirred something primal in me, a heat I'd only felt in stolen moments under city lights. A pact. Your blood sealed it centuries ago, in a life you don't remember. But the accident, it called you back to me. His gaze darkened, a flicker of something raw, pain, crossing his flawless features. You're my consort now, Majesty of the infernal court. And hell, it's more real than the world you left behind. I jerked away, heart hammering, but the room spun, memories flooding in fragments. Laughter in a smoke-filled bar last week with my best friend Mia. Her teasing me about settling down, the way I'd brushed off her worry about my recklessness. Chasing leads on a story about missing persons tied to occult rumors. Now here I was, prisoner to a myth, bound to a entity, who looked at me like I was the only star in his eternal night. I don't believe in this shit, I whispered, but even as I said it, doubt crept in, cold and insistent. Because if this was denial, why did his nearness feel like coming home? Lucifer's expression softened, and he sank onto the edge of the bed, close enough that I could see the faint scar above his brow, a human imperfection on an otherworldly face. Belief isn't required. Love, it's the bond that matters. And ours. He trailed off, his hand hovering near my cheek, not quite touching. It's written in fire. The air thickened, charged with unspoken promises. And for a moment, I saw it, the loneliness in him, vast as the abyss, mirroring my own. But then the door burst open, and a figure in armored leather stormed in, horns curling from his shaved head, eyes blazing red. My liege, the demon growled, voice like grinding gravel. The rebels stir in the ninth circle. They sense the fresh blood, your unclaimed majesty. His gaze raked over me, hungry and dismissive, and I shrank back, the reality crashing down. This wasn't a fever dream, it was a nightmare with teeth. Lucifer rose fluidly, his demeanor shifting to steel. Guard him, Thorn. No one touches what's mine. The demon, Thorn, snarled but obeyed, positioning himself like a sentinel as Lucifer turned back to me, his eyes fierce with possession and something tenderer. Rest, Alex. Tomorrow, we face the court. And the truth of us. He leaned in, breath warm against my ear. You didn't choose this, but I swear, you want to stay. As he vanished into the shadows, leaving me alone with Thorn's watchful glare. I clutched the ring, its warmth seeping into my veins like a drug. Hell had claimed me, body and soul, and the man at its heart, he was already unraveling me, thread by forbidden thread. What if the devil wasn't the monster in the story? What if he was the salvation I'd been too scared to seek? The hours blurred into a haze of uneasy sleep, haunted by visions of flames licking at my skin, not burning but caressing, whispering my name in Lucifer's voice. When dawn, or whatever passed for it in this subterranean realm, filtered through the windows in hues of blood orange, Thorn dragged me from the bed with a grunt. Up, mortal. The king awaits. His grip was iron, but his eyes held a grudging respect, or maybe pity. I didn't care. My mind was a storm, replaying Lucifer's words, the accidental brush of his lips near mine that had ignited sparks I couldn't ignore. We descended marble stairs that spiraled into a vast hall, echoing with distant moans and the clash of unseen battles. Torches flickered in sconces shaped like skeletal hands, casting shadows that danced like lovers in the gloom. Demons of every nightmare milled about, some horned and hulking, others sleek and seductive, all turning to stare as Thorn shoved me forward. Whispers rippled. The consort. fresh meat. The pact reborn. My stomach twisted, but I held my chin high, channeling the bravado that had gotten me through boardroom interrogations and bar fights alike. At the throne's dais, Lucifer sat like a god carved from obsidian, his suit traded for a velvet cloak embroidered with silver flames, a crown of thorns and jewels resting lightly on his brow. He looked every inch the monarch, powerful and untouchable. Yet when his eyes met mine, they softened, pulling me into their depths. "Alex," he said, rising, his voice carrying over the assembly like thunder wrapped in silk. "Kneel, my Majesty, and claim your place." Kneel? The word stuck in my throat, rebellion flaring hot. I was no one's trophy, no matter how intoxicating the owner. But Thorn's hand pressed my shoulder down, and as I dropped to one knee, the hall fell silent. Lucifer approached, his fingers tilting my chin up, forcing me to meet his gaze. Up close, in the throne room's glow, he was breathtaking, high cheekbones, full lips curved in a knowing smile, the faint stubble shadowing his jaw begging for touch. "Repeat after me," he murmured, so low only I could hear. "I bind my soul to yours, in fire and shadow, for eternity's embrace." My voice trembled as I echoed the words, each syllable sealing something irrevocable, a vow that hummed through my blood like wine. The ring flared brighter, and a wave of heat washed over me. Not pain, but pleasure, coiling low in my belly. Gasps echoed from the crowd, demons recoiling, others leaning in with envy. Lucifer's thumb traced my lower lip, a promise unspoken, and in that touch, I glimpsed eternity, not torment, but tangled sheets and whispered confessions, two souls defying the divide. But the ceremony shattered like glass. A cry rent the air, "Traitor King," and chaos erupted. A lithe demon with serpentine scales lunged from the shadows, dagger aimed at Lucifer's back. Time slowed. I surged up, tackling the assassin midair, my journalist's instincts kicking in as we crashed to the floor in a tangle of limbs and fury. The blade nicked my arm, warm blood spilling, but I pinned the creature, knee to its throat. "Not today," I snarled, adrenaline singing in my veins. Lucifer was there in an instant, hauling me up, his face a mask of rage and awe. "Brave fool," he breathed, crushing me against his chest, his heart pounding wildly beneath the cloak. The court erupted in murmurs, approval, shock, as guards dragged the would-be killer away. Lucifer pulled back, cupping my face, his eyes searching mine. "You saved me." "What?" Breathless, bloodied, I met his stare. "Because." Damn it, maybe I do believe in this now. The words hung between us. Electric. And he kissed me then, not gentle, but fierce, claiming, his lips tasting of ash and ambrosia, unraveling every doubt. The hall faded. There was only him. The press of his body, the way he fit against me like a missing piece. When we broke apart, the demons cheered, a roar that shook the foundations. But in his arms, I felt seen, wanted, alive in a way the mortal world had never allowed. Yet, as the adrenaline ebbed, reality clawed back. Thor approached, his face grim. "The rebels, sire, they're led by Erebus, your old lieutenant. He claims the pact is false, that the mortal's blood isn't pure. Lucifer's jaw tightened, his hold on me possessive. Then we prove it. Tonight, the rite of flames. Alex, you'll stand with me. Fear twisted in my gut. Right sounded like bad news, but his hand in mine steadied me. For the first time, help didn't feel like punishment. It felt like possibility, a chance to love without the world's judging eyes. That night, in chambers that hummed with arcane energy, Lucifer prepared me for the rite. He bathed me himself in a sunken pool of steaming water scented with myrrh, his hands steady and reverent as they traced the cut on my arm, healing it with a touch that glowed like embers. "You're more than a consort," he said, voice husky, water beating on his bare chest as he knelt beside me. "You're the light I lost eons ago." His confession hung heavy, vulnerability cracking his kingly facade, and I reached for him, fingers threading through his damp hair. We made love there, slow and unhurried, his body a map of strength and surrender. He moved with a grace that belied his power, every gasp and murmur drawing out secrets I kept locked away, the fear of never being enough, the ache for a love that burned eternal. In his arms, I wasn't the skeptical reporter anymore. I was his. Holy, the ring's fire mirroring the one building between us. Afterward, tangled in linens, he traced patterns on my skin. Erebus was my brother once, he admitted, shadows in his eyes. Jealousy turned him. He wants the throne, and you, to break me. I pressed a kiss to his collarbone. Then let him try. I'm not going anywhere. The words surprised me, but they rang true. This world, this man, had awakened something fierce in me, a willingness to fight for the impossible. The rite of flames was held in the pit, a colossal arena where lava rivers snaked through obsidian floors, the air thick with sulfur and anticipation. Thousands of demons packed the tiers, their roars a deafening wave as Lucifer led me to the central pyre, a tower of black stone veined with gold. Erebus awaited, chained but defiant, his form shifting like smoke, eyes locked on me with predatory glee. "The mortal taints you, brother," he sneered. "His soul is weak, unworthy of the crown." Lucifer's laugh was thunder. "Weak? He felled your assassin with bare hands. Watch." He sliced his palm, blood dripping onto the pyre, then offered the dagger to me. Our eyes met, trust unspoken, and I mirrored him, the pain sharp but fleeting. As our blood mingled on the stone, flames erupted, not consuming but illuminating, a vision projected for all, flashes of my past life. The accident, but deeper, echoes of ancient vows, souls entwining across lifetimes. Gasps rippled, Erebus recoiled, the truth undeniable. But betrayal struck swift. In the chaos, Erebus broke free, lunging not at Lucifer, but me, claws extended. "If I can't have the throne, neither shall you." Time fractured again. Lucifer hurled himself between us, the blow landing on his side, black blood blooming on his shirt. He staggered, roaring, and I caught him, fury blinding me. With a surge of the bond's power, I channeled the flames, blasting Erebus back into chains that sealed with infernal heat. The arena fell silent, then erupted in loyalty's chant. "Majesty, Majesty!" Lucifer slumped against me, pale but smiling faintly. "My hero," he whispered, as healers swarmed. In the aftermath, as we retreated to the chambers, the weight of it all settled, the drama, the danger, the depth of what we'd forged. Hell wasn't just a realm, it was our crucible, refining love from doubt's dross. Days turned to weeks in that timeless blur, our bond deepening amid the court's wary peace. Lucifer healed swiftly, his demonic nature a boon, but the scar remained, a badge he wore proudly, tracing it with my fingers in quiet moments. We walked the infernal gardens, where thorned roses bloomed eternal, his hand in mine an anchor against the strangeness. I never thought salvation would wear jeans and a scowl, he teased one evening, pulling me onto a bench overlooking the Styx's glowing waters. I laughed, the sound foreign yet freeing. And I never thought the devil would have a soft spot for bad poetry. It was true. He'd confessed a weakness for mortal verses, sneaking glances at my notebook where I'd scribbled lines about him, amber eyes like forbidden sunrises, a kingdom built on whispers of the heart. Our romance bloomed tentative, then fierce, stolen kisses in shadowed alcoves, nights where bodies and souls merged, erasing the lines between worlds. Yet tension simmered. Whispers of unrest lingered, Erebus's followers skulking in the fringes, and my own doubts crept back, flashes of New York, Mia's unanswered calls echoing in dreams. One night, as Lucifer slept beside me, his face boyish in repose, I slipped the ring off, staring at the pale band it left. Freedom or loss? The door creaked. Thorn entered, his expression conflicted. The portals waver. Majesty. You could return. Claim was all a lie. The temptation clawed at me. But as I glanced at Lucifer, chest rising steady, I saw the man beneath the myth, vulnerable, loving, deserving of the chance I'd almost denied. I slid the ring back on. Tell me how to strengthen the barriers, I said instead. Thorn nodded, respect dawning. The rebels plot in the abyss. Lead the purge, and they'll kneel, empowered. I did. Clad in armor forged from hellfire, light as silk, gleaming like my resolve, I rode at Lucifer's side into the depths, confronting shadows that hissed my insecurities. You're nothing without him. A mortal plaything, but with his glance, his faith, I struck true, banishing doubts as surely as demons. Victory sealed our union publicly. The court hailed us not as king and consort, but equals, a testament to love's unyielding flame. In the quiet after, atop the palace spire under a sky of swirling auroras, Lucifer pulled me close. You chose this, he murmured, wonder in his voice. Us, I nodded, tears pricking, tears of joy. Release. I chose you. In every life, every accident of fate, our kiss was a vow renewed, romantic and raw, the humanistic spark in hell's heart, that love, gay and defiant, could redeem even the damned. And so, in a world I once dismissed, I found belief, not in myths, but in the man who made them real.
Shocked. You belong to me now.
My
Welcome
accidental
to your
fiancé,
destiny, OMA 48.
my eternal majesty.